volume is low. Make sure audio is not gonna echo back. All right, Twitch is up and running. YouTube takes a moment longer. All right, we connect to Studio, and finally, there we go. All right, we're live on Twitch and YouTube. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Code Hangout number 75. Today we're gonna get started on colors. It's been a long time coming, and in this video from a couple of days ago, Simon struggled very much with the color choice. And I had a couple of thoughts. Today we're gonna look at the user interface. How do we select different color palettes? I don't think there's a good way of having more than 9 and or 10 selectable colors. We'll look into that a little as well. But mostly we're going to be looking into fitting a UI for choosing different color palettes down there. And I had a few thoughts, so that's what we're going to do right away. We're going to, I was thinking of actually adding it like a feature like this, but I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it. Basically as an external file. I mean, we've done the letter tool. Let's enable these just because there might be conflicts. So the letter tool, we've added a button here, and we kind of want to do the same thing. Let's have a look at that. Now this is kind of an older code base. How we've done the interactions there. We probably run it right as. So I think I'm gonna start making it an optional feature, and then we'll see how it goes. It'll be a good way of pushing it out for testing as well. All right, so we have a blank file here, and we're gonna use this kind of, what's the word? This convention here, right? So we're just gonna call it feature, what are we gonna call it? What are we going to call this feature? Multicolor? Color palettes? Multi-palette? Multi-palette, maybe? And I wanted to use this icon specifically to designate the existing palette. And we'll see how that goes. So, let's save that as feature. Now, multicolor is not the right word because we already multicolor. Multi-palette. And I always misspell palette. I'm gonna just check it. It's 2T1L. Yeah, all right. Multi-palette. And we're going to move some of this stuff over into that. So we're gonna have this basic structure, and I think we're just gonna pull it down here. So we're gonna have a reference. So that will be feature multi-palette, like that. And then at the end, we'll do it like this. All right, so feature multi-palette. Feature multi-palette like that. And return the constructor out of here. And then we'll have to add all these little helpers here. And okay. Which one is this? Mark soft digit. I don't know if that's the most recent one. I think not show season. Label row columns would probably. Oh no. That's the old style. Okay, so I must have either retrofitted this one. Have I retrofitted this one? No. Okay, so that's the only one in this new style. Okay. Well, we need the yeah, and we definitely probably need to attach detach handlers as well. Okay. So the settings group for this probably should be gameplay. Actually, it'll be tools. Yeah, it'll go into tools. And then this will be multi-palette. Multi-palette. All right. Feature style sheet. Now this is under under the class. So we can just stick that there. And for now, it'll be empty. Okay. So what else do we have here? That's inserting the styles. Okay, so these are all boilerplate. Then we definitely want an attach detach. And I'm just gonna blank these all out. Like that. And then clear classes makes sense to have as well. Clear classes solved. Digit. Let's bring the other features in here as well. Clear classes solved. Ah, that's the wrong one. They were all call, for example. Wait. Save it from here. Close it from here. Label row column. All right. Clear classes. Yeah, I'm gonna just block this out as well for now. And right now it should not do anything, but it should also not break. So if we open the settings here, we should, nope, we don't have the setting here. Ah, because we're not actually loading it in yet. Okay. This is something we can solve. Multi-palette. And multi-palette on. Now that doesn't do anything, obviously. Let's make it do something. Hey, Tristan, how are you doing? Hey. Well, yes. Because I've been thinking about that, you know, because I don't want to squeeze more buttons in here. So I don't think I want to do more than 10 colors at any one time. Like a scrolling palette, for example, I don't think that makes sense. So I'm gonna go with a toggle palette, and I was thinking of actually turning one of these buttons into basically a palette selection. Then we can have even more than just one or two. Because probably what things will evolve into eventually is to have some kind of basic set of standard palettes. So they'll probably always be the classic palette as now, just for backwards compatibility with existing puzzles and so on. And then there'll be probably something like a dual palette mode where, you know, you have the same colors, but like in a darker and a lighter version or something like that, you know, where it's sensible why you're switching from one palette to the next. And then there will be sort of custom palettes, you know, for like things that you cannot expect everybody to have, you know, like colorblind palettes and things like that people can modify themselves, maybe even share. But it gets tricky because eventually you cannot assume that somebody has access to certain colors, right? So there needs to be some sort of basic set of prescribed colors and then customization and, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, there might be something like hotkeys for toggling between kind of the core palettes and things like that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's implement the basic mechanism first. And the thing I need to be able to do is modify the scale of these buttons. And that's currently done in the letter tool. So let's bring the letter tool down here. Give it a little bit more breathing space. In fact, let's close these because I'm so struggling with tab space. And I need to figure out, because I did a whole bunch of shenanigans to get these extra buttons squeezed in there. And it's kind of a mix between the styling and some JavaScript, right? So let's see. In fact, it might help us to actually look at that here. Because even the extra button needs to be injected, so it cannot be done in pure CSS, at least not in a reasonable fashion. I think that's basically what's happening here. Show hide letters. So now the delete button being a different width, that definitely can be done in a style sheet. And I think it's this. So we're gonna clone some of these. In fact, tool letter CSS, right? Let's have a look at this. So we have delete. A bit loud in my own ears. Ah, okay. So we had. Ah, no, okay, it's just this one. Toggle letter. Toggle letter. Okay. Well, let's get started with this one, right? We have this styling. And it's obviously tool multi-palette. So if I do this, we should... okay. Controls multi-palette. Setting multi-palette. So we have setting multi-palette here. Then we have dot controls input, data control delete. And now this should be... this gets overwritten by 2-letter. Oh, that sucks. Why does that get overwritten by 2-letter? So the inline style happens too early. Are you kidding me? So we get different... because it gets injected, but where does it get injected? Too early it gets injected, I'm telling you. So where is this? No, this gets injected here. And then 2-letter. One sec, go back to here. This gets loaded. Or it gets loaded down here, doesn't it? Are you kidding me? So one way of around that is to basically, instead of injecting it into the head element, to inject it into the body. Which, you know, one way of doing it. There's a couple other things. There's changing the tool letter style to be more selective of when it injects itself. Because it seems to kind of phase in and out here. In fact, it seems to be doing both. Let's have another look at this. 2-letter. So at line 17, it does this. So it's kind of... yeah, so basically it's saying skip color. But I think it should do the opposite, right? It should not skip color. It should ensure that it's, you know, targeting, because it doesn't work on pen, right? So this is tool color. So we have tool center. So instead of doing it this way, delete switch transform scale 1. All right. So instead of doing it this way, it's going to be a lot annoying, but more accurate, right? So instead of excluding it for 2-color, we include it for the other tools. So this will be tool center. Oh, we'll shorten that so it doesn't drive us completely up the wall. And now this will only work correctly for tool center. Interesting enough, the width and height alignment still seem to somehow work out, even though it's a bit broken. Oh, because of this one. Yeah, okay. All right, all right. So we have center, we have tool normal, and tool corner. All right. So we have center, normal, corner. Normal and corner. And now, nope, that doesn't work at all. So it says tool center, and tool controls button, tool, oh, I missed the space here. There we go. Okay. And now we can do something similar on this side here. So that would be tool color only. And do it this way, so we have kind of a little bit of a match thing going on here. And then tool color on this with the transform. So now I should be going to here. Now we have to re-enable that. And we have this situation going on. All right. So now we have to inject the additional button. Where does that happen? Letter, toggle letter, handle toggle. I think it's this one, right? And this would basically be on the attach element. Let's let's make sure we know when this is happening. And when this is happening, so we know when things should get started. And this is obviously not toggle letter. So something like that. And we need the delete button. Just put that there. And yes, Unicode palette. I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if this is a good idea. Probably not. Okay. And if I click that, you get a handle toggle. And if I close that, it doesn't go away because we're not removing it. So remove input letter, input digit, toggle letter. Okay, so we do this in here. And I'm not calling this toggle letter. Select outlet. Because this is actually going to be a drop down. I just might have to do it the hard way, manually, myself. Okay. So far, so good. So the idea is basically to style this button and then have a drop down box, or drop up probably, where every list entry basically has an icon similar to this, or something representing the colors. It could literally be this, maybe just larger, and the name of the palette next to it. And do I want to store style? So there's two ways of doing this. I can preload all the HTML for it and then just use styling to kind of bring it into view. Or just when you're pressing the button, boom, inject HTML at the time. And I'm kind of tempted to do that because then I don't have a bunch of extra HTML floating around on the page at all times. But it also will make interactions with that code a little harder. So by doing it with JavaScript only, it makes it harder for third-party tools to kind of interact with it. So maybe we'll inject it right here and there, here and then, here and now. I don't think I can use the HTML select mechanisms, or maybe I can. Let me see. Styling, custom, drop down. Actually, we're kind of doing this already here, right? We're kind of doing that already here. And we're just using a button, right? And if I click on that, it's basically just opening this whole thing, right? And the positioning happens how? Okay, absolute. That might be pre-styled. And it's using this styling, huh? I'm just thinking, if I put something in this spot, does that mess, and if it's positioned absolute and all that stuff, how badly will that mess with everything? What if we do something like insert, so we have button delete, no, we have button, parent node insert after, button delete, and then we'll just say something like let menu equals, yeah, something like that. Palette menu. So we do something like that, right? And we're gonna make it a diff. And for now, we're just gonna do something like something like that, just to get it onto the screen. Insert after, insert after, insert after, insert before. There's no insert after. So what's the opposite of insert before? Just insert. Insert at. Insert before new node. Pre-insert. Insert after. Well, problem is you can't do next sibling if there's no next sibling. Yeah, what happens when there's no next sibling? This seems very odd. Also, I'm getting really hot for some reason. So, first child, insert before. So, new element, insert before element, before, after, before element. So we should be able to just say etn.after palette menu, something like that. If I don't misspell it. Okay, there it is. So now if we slap some styling on it, something like position absolute. Okay. Background magenta. Okay, so position absolute is a problem. Because the button itself isn't positioned relative. So there's the other thing is we can insert a diff at this point and put the button inside the diff or whatnot. Although then we can't know if it's going to be styled in the right spot. The alternative is obviously to use JavaScript. Position absolute. So the options are, if we put it before the button, I think we're just gonna use the same offsets as the button. So we know the button is gonna be here. Or we just position it where the button is. We know the button is the second one, and for now, I guess, in this situation, that's good enough, right? So if we say width 4rem, right, 4rem, I think 4rem is the unit for these buttons, but we have spacing. So it's 8.3. So it's 1.5 in between. Is that what we're saying? Because this whole thing is going to be 10. And if so they're not 4. No, wait. Here it says 4. But this is 10, except it's not. Except it's not. 1 second. And if I'm looking at these outlines, the units seem to be a little fussy. 64.64, 64, not sure why it's 0.64, but this seems to imply 4x4, and then this does not say. I don't know why it's crossed out though. Why is this crossed out? Why is the 10 REM crossed out? It's line 707. Oh, okay, that's removed. How big is this? 11.5, that's all crossed out. Is it just a function of something else? Let's assume there's a 0.1 between them. Where does it get us? Left, 4.1 RAM. That doesn't seem to do anything. That didn't seem to change anything. Is this not 4 RAM from the side? Okay. So 4.5, half RAM. Okay, that looks about right. Or just F and 7, semi-transparent magenta. And we're off by a little. That's so strange. Why are we off at the top? So is there some sort of vertical displacement as well? Is there some vertical spacing margining going on here? It's 62.46. It's not exactly 64 either here. Like, it doesn't exactly overlap with the button. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't have to be a 100% overlap either. Let's see what the rounded corner radius is here. Here we go. 0.15 margin. Padding 0.25. So padding 0.25. So it's 0.25 on either side. That's where we get the 4.5 here. So then we probably want a top 0.25 RAM. Oh, no, shoot. We're relying on the flow to give us our top position. So what if we do a margin top? So we don't mess with the flow. Yeah, it seems to be half of that. Yeah, and that's basically a perfect match. And then the rounded corner is 0.5 rem. Border radius 0.5 rem. Now the idea is of the drop down or drop up is, so I think I'm just gonna actually, how are we gonna do this? This gives us our position, not the position of the button. So we want to put something inside of this. So we want to do something more like children. And then we'll do tag diff. And then we'll do all of that. Boom. Like that. And that should give us a nested diff. And the styling of, of this one this is where we're going to do all of this shenanigans here. Kind of like that. And we probably want to do outline 2px solid red. So we know where it is. Yes. And now this we can do wider. So the idea is, this could be now 12 rem. It sticks out over the side. And what we could do is if we make this 16 rem high, and then we'll do bottom 0 and position relative absolute, and then position. How can we make this relative to that? Wait. Relative. Wait. This needs a height then. So, height 4 rem. Zip. Nope. Bottom 0 width height. Position relative. This I wanted to extend upwards. CSS position relative to absolute parent. What if it's a margin bottom 0? No. What if it's a margin top -10? I mean, I'd prefer to avoid fixed top positions, because then I need to know how big the thing is, right? So I wish it would just naturally push itself upwards. This doesn't even have to be positioned relative, right? How do I bottom align? CSS bottom aligned extend upwards. It would work if this one was relative. But that probably doesn't work because then it's in the flow. God, I've done this so many times and now my brain is just blanking on me. Excuse me. Let me think. So I want this drop down to basically drop up without having to specify how high. Well, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna do this for now, right? And we're gonna do it let's say we're gonna put 4 items in it, right? So that's 4 times 4 RAM plus 4 times 4. No, let's make 3 items. So actually, do we want? We could put a scrolling box in here, but maybe no, because on mobile that'll be a whole extra countable pass. So it's 4 times 4. That's 12, plus 3 spaces in between of 0.5 each. So that's 13.5. And then height would be this. Something like that. Minus 4.5 or minus 4? Let's make this a D. Oh, I need to do some pixel peeping. There we go. Excuse me. My streaming allergies kicking in. Can I zoom in further? All right, so this looks like we're perfectly included inside the red outline. And the red outline is basically perfectly overlapping the buttons. And we can push over to the side a little bit further. How do I get out of the magnifier? Hold it 4. Yeah, thank you. So, thank you for your services. Let's make it a little wider. And I don't mind if this is all hard-coded, and then we'll fix it up later. So, this button's above us. Ooh. Can we bring this to the top? Position relativo. We can't do this absolute. Yes, okay. And now we need some children in this guy as well. I'm just gonna do this. Right, and then here we're going to, this is all just a little prototype, right? This will actually be easier to do in CS in a style shape, but for now, you know what? So I'll make this a diff, and we'll make this with a style, and we'll make this with an inner HTML, and the inner HTML is going to have an icon in it, and I'm thinking if I can whack it in there just with a base64 encoded button for now. If I refresh this. So the idea would be that this palette menu will initially be invisible. So display none. Something like that, right? And then when I press this, you know, we toggle the display. So I can do something like this. And then here we're going to do something like that. Tag handler this, and then out menu dot style dot display equals yep. If it's none, we'll make it block. Else we make it none. Just quickly right now, it's for testing. So, oh, we broke it. block none equals. And toggle. And of course we can't press it again. All right, that's fine. But it also means we can now click on this button because I need to look up where this icon comes from. So this icon comes... I think this might just be embedded in the HTML. Tools, color. Control tools, tool, color. So we kind of get this. So we have one of these. And we do something like this. What does that do? Okay. Okay. Color palette A. And then this would be height 4M. Margin 0.250. And gets us something like this. And then if I do 4 of these, it gets us this. And somehow we are completely off the rocker here. Height 4M. Ah, wait. Width, height 13. Ah, no, we made it 3 palettes high. So let's add another one. So that's 0.5 and a 4. So 17 plus 0.5, that's 18. That should fit us exactly 4. Except now it's more than 4. To be honest, they don't actually need to be the same as the other color palettes. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to start moving some of these styles to the style sheet, especially for these things where I'm going to have multiple elements. And we're going to turn this into a thingamajig. So here we're going to have icon. No, icon. And label. And then this will be color palette A. And then we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. Color B. Fresh new colors and better accessibility. And color palette C. And then we're gonna map these. And we're gonna have a label and an icon. We're gonna turn these into one of these guys each. So we have a tag, style, and then HTML. This will be our icon. This will be our label. And I think get rid of these. Something like this. Don't think that one needs to be there anymore. And bada bing, bada boom. All right. That's on the wrong side. All right, and then we can mess around with the height and whatnot. I mean, maybe there should be 3 RAM. And maybe it should have a border around, and maybe it should be whatever, right? Something like that. And then maybe instead of doing this, we gotta do something about the background color. I think it's starting to give me a headache. Background color should be what? Should be a neutral color, but it should cover the background. So for now, I'm just gonna plug in a white here. Transparent white. Something like, ooh, that's not white. Something like that. And then we can do hover styles, we don't do here. All right, so this would be our color palettes. And then the icons would ideally reflect the colors. Do we want to block the rest of the screen the same way as we did with this menu? So you can just click anywhere and get rid of it. We could also align the menu with the entire button thing, so you don't get tempted to press other buttons. So there's two ways of doing it, right? There's one, we kind of deal with it as if it's the killer calculator, which is kind of always there. And you can leave it open, and it overlaps an area we're not using. But it doesn't really work very well because we're overlapping exactly the area which we will be using, right? So the question is, does it make sense to have the color palette selection somewhere where you can leave it open? For example, if we just bring it down, the problem is we don't really have a lot of space here. So at most we'll fit like, I mean, we could put it in this space, overlap these three buttons. You don't access this color, and then these, and we can maybe fit 3 or 4 palettes in here. And then most of the time you could literally leave that open and just press on the palettes and kind of switch between them quickly as you're using them. So that is an option. So, that's one option. But then you're limited to just what fits here, and then we have to mess around a bit. Now, I think I'm gonna have to have it so you open it and you have to do something. So we kind of want to gray out. Now, do we want to gray out the whole screen? I'm not sure how I feel about that because it might be a bit jarring, especially if you're doing it a lot, like you're constantly flashing your screen. Well, very much like if the whole point of the palette is to have more than 9 colors, you have to switch to more than one palette to get your extra colors, right? So you will be switching all the time. The question is graying out the whole screen too distracting? And not graying out the screen, is it clear that if you click, you will close the palette? And probably what will happen is the first click you do to close the palette will basically be ignored, right? Unless, So my temptation right now is to make the palette cover the buttons and then have any click off the palette work as normal, just simultaneously close the palette. So to close the palette, you basically just click somewhere. Now, you don't necessarily want to do that because you probably usually don't want to lose a selection and stuff like that. You know, at a lot of places where you might click, you know, or it will do something, right? Let's see what it looks like if the palette would exactly cover the buttons, right? So to do that, we're gonna have to, in fact, let's do this down here. So we have this thing, right? And if we go on the left, margin top, margin bottom. So if we do margin, or if I just do, say, left 0, position relative. Ah, wait. Well, we were struggling to keep it where the button is, but if we don't care where the button is, maybe it's a lot easier, right? So if we save this quickly, if we put the left to 0, and then top to 0, Doesn't that already automatically give us what we wanted? Ah, no, it brings it up to there. And that's because we don't have the relative style here or here. Display flex. What if it's position? Can I make this position relative without screwing a lot of other things? And then here. So we'd have to add position relative to this. Now, would we want it to this or to this? Because this is actually, this is whole section, while this is, well, to be honest, that section is actually what we have available as space, right? So that's actually not the worst idea. So that would be an 836. If I do position relative here, it shouldn't screw things too up. Hey, Soldier FX1, how are you doing? Well, it's about both, right? 2 birds, 1 stone, all that. Because, Eric, that space is already used up by the killer calculator. So, yeah. And then we want this to be at 0 here. And now, in theory, can I just do width 100%? With the relative setting, would that... Oh. Ah, wait. Instead of doing that, we're gonna do left 0, top 0, right 0, bottom 0. I don't like how the width 100% doesn't do what you would expect in it. Ah, because we need that also here. Like that. And if I do this, so now our menu will take up this whole space. Okay. By the way, Lumaraf and SoldierFX are on Twitch, and Eric and Tristan are on YouTube, so you guys probably don't see each other's chats. No mouse on mobile. So we don't have hover effects. Now, this won't actually help, right? Because, well, this will help in the sense that you won't accidentally use, you won't be able to leave the palette open because, you're covering the buttons you need to use the palette. But it'll make it easy to close the palette quickly. Choose your color and then close it quickly. So let's implement that quickly. So we're gonna do a little handler here. Const handle palette select. What is, oh, missing a dot here. So we're going to do this, and then we'll just add that here. And, all right. And we should add that here, and then we can handle palette toggle. All right. Then here we can just do a handle palette toggle. Boom, 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 boom. And it should be fairly quick. There is no physical keypad on mobile. Yeah, there's going to be all sorts of problematic things, which is the reason why I haven't tackled this so far. There's going to be a lot of things that just won't be solvable. And then the choice would be basically what I've done so far, not doing it, or doing it somewhat badly, which hopefully is better than not doing it at all. So yeah, there's going to be situations where there's no good solution, sadly. So, but in the moment, I'm just very keen to kind of prototype this. Now, the other question is... how to detect a click elsewhere. So if I do something like... The problem is, it's not just clicks, it's all sorts of other things we want to use. We want to close it under all sorts of circumstances. So not just clicks, but... And that's the thing, the overlay makes it clear that it'll close. No overlay doesn't make it clear. It's kind of forcing you to select some... Well, maybe that's actually not the worst. Let's try that. So we'll make one of these selected, right? So let me just clone this down here. And let's move this style here into... yeah, let's see. Palette menu. So we're gonna do class name, class palette menu. Why not? And then we're going to do. Oh yeah, no, we need these, right? But it's not setting two-letter. It's setting multi-palette. And then palette menu of outline, then px solid red, just to know that it's active. Wait, what? Tool color, tool. Oh, I think we want this, right? No. Why is this happening? Because I'm not filtering out that I'm on the right tool. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Palette menu. Now, palette menu, I'm guessing, doesn't have... No, it does have the class. And then it gets overwritten. All right, fair enough. So we want that in here. And that just doesn't work anymore now. Already broken. Display none. Display block. Oh, because the display none is on this thing here. So we're just gonna say something like let menu open equals false, and then we're gonna do menu open if it's true, and we were gonna do equals not menu open. So now this should just work. Okay. Ah, yeah. And now selecting this toggles it down. All right. Technically, but I'm already so far behind on features that I'm probably not going to re-implement the same feature multiple different ways. I'd rather build other features instead. That's the sad reality of things. In the meantime, I'm doing that. Somebody's going to ask, hey, why don't we have multi-digit support, or why don't we have the website with the puzzle publishing features, and why don't we have, you know, all these other things? Why don't we have cloud saves and all that stuff? So yeah, colors is just something that's been in the pipeline for a long time, and it's pretty important. And if I can do a fast implementation, then it's worthwhile doing. If it takes me too long and it's too complex, then it's not worth doing. What's happening in 20 minutes? I feel like I'm missing out on something. Stream starting, I guess. I'm planning to do actually 2 streams today. I'm gonna do this for like an hour or 2 to get this UI sorted out, and then I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna start maybe another stream for like 2 or 3 hours to actually implement the palette switching itself and all the handling of in the backend for replay data and all that stuff. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna move the palette data up here. So palette menu, then we're gonna do let palette options. I'm gonna pull these up here for now. That's these guys. I'll just do that here. Should still work. And then we'll do palette options. Let current palette equals 0. And we probably want to give them something, right? Like an ID. Or, more accurately, these are going to be titles. And then these are going to be the labels. And we're just going to keep it simple and just going to number them for now. But the importance of having string labels is that it enables us to handle complex shared palettes in the future. All right. And then here we're going to use the title. And we're going to give it a data thingamajig. Data. Huh? Have I done a data control through this in the past? I don't actually know. Data. Have I done this like that? Looks like I have. So data palette. So that would be label, title, icon, label. Refresh that. Undefined title. Don't I have titles? Okay. My nose is itching. Ah, Zeta stream, of course. Hey, Andy. Don't think it's worth it. I don't think there's too many first of all, where do you put it, right? We use up very valuable real estate, and secondly, it's not really something that's ever come up in a puzzle. It's very, very rarely, like even puzzles where you're closing a loop, you literally do that exactly once, and what is it going to save you? Literally 1/2 cell long length of line. So I'm not sure if that's actually valuable in any way. Okay. So the question now is, do we have the data items in here? No. No. Data dash control create element. Data dash control data palette label. All right, 1 second. Let me just move some of these styles down here. So we have do we need the nested item now? So we have this and this. I don't think we need a second nested item now. I think that means we can just do this, right? Would be nice if we can simplify it a little. Oop. And then we'll just put some of these styles in here. So Z index gotta go high. And we have done that already. And we need a background and a border radius and then the outline one. Just leave that in there for now. All right. And then the sub items we can do as well. Close line. Okay, sorry, Andy. I'm misunderstanding. Close line option in the color menu. Close line. A close line option slash option. What do you mean by line option? What do you mean? Like a button for closing something? Closing what? Not sure. And then the children. They are gonna have to be labeled as well. Tag class dot palette. Because now we can do things like adding a selected one and so on and so forth, right? And the selected one would be a class on the palette menu, right? So we're just gonna do this. Actually, let's make it a function. And then we're just gonna do select palette. Just got current palette equals palette options 0 dot label. I'm gonna do that. And then we're just gonna do this. And then we're gonna do palette menu. Class list dot add selected. We gotta remove all. Ah, wait. Yeah. Do we? Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Because we don't want to pre-style these things, right? We don't want to put them in the style sheet. This method works fine when you're when you have a pre-made menu, such as the main menu and so on. Well, to close it, you basically just, we already have a line. We don't want to waste space, right? We're very limited in space. So you just select, you know, whichever palette you want to use. It's already a very big space dedicated to that, right? Just like any other menu. Don't have to click on an empty space somewhere else. All right, so document.query. Wait. Can do this dot query selector all diff. So just all the, or in fact, we can even select them by this. I feel like I should use an UL and LI elements, but yeah. All right. Let's have a look. So we got these. This gets us the palette items, right? And we handle palette select palette. All right. We're going to do this, handle palette toggle, palette item. We also have arcs. So under the event. Now, we need the event because that's the only thing that's actually going to tell us what we've clicked, right? So we have the event, and we have to figure out which thing is going to be the closest thing to the element. We have target. Let's see which one here is the closest to what we actually want. So better accessibility. So that's the one we clicked. So that might be good enough. I'm missing the data item here, which is a little annoying. Why is this not being added through framework? Where is framework? Framework. Here we go. Find data. No. Data set. Can we do it via data set? Maybe. Yeah, great. So now if I click on one of these guys, we have that. Right? Boom. Boom. That's PAL 4, better accessibility. I'm always pressing that one. PAL 1, color palette A. Okay. Nope, not 2 columns. We're probably going to limit it to maybe even less than that. Too many palettes is just going to, like, you cannot play a game when you're shuffling between 5 different palettes and then 10 colors each. Doesn't make any sense. In fact, I might limit it to just 3 or 4. We'll probably have 2 or 3 built-in ones and then 1 or 2 custom ones, something like that. And then maybe like an alternate set, so you can like, for the built-in ones, you can replace them with your own versions, right? The space is actually pretty similar. It's not too bad. All right. So handle palette select. Select palette. Select. Let me warn these out. So we have a little bit of color down here. So we have a select palette, right? So what we're gonna do in the select palette, we're going to, we can actually query straight into these. Data dash palette equals label. Nope. Palette item data palette. I'm gonna do this. Node list. Because this. This. There we go. So now we can let palette item equals this, and we can do this dot class list add. But we want to remove it from all the other ones. Right. So we want to do query selector all. Let's do this after. So we're just going to do this. And then here, we'll do border width 3 px. No. Let's just not worry about the styling right now. So that one is red, and I can click on a different one. So instead of closing, so right now when we're selecting, we're also doing a toggle. Instead of doing this, right? So we do this, and I click this one. We have a pal3, so this is our next target palette. And then we're gonna do a don't need any of that. I'm gonna output that, and then we're going to select that. And okay, that's what I expected before. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all the palette items, not the ballot items, the palette items. And then we'll do class list.remove. I'll just remove them. Bada bing, bada boom. Boop, boop, boop. And that doesn't work. Palette item. That should get us all the palette items. Boom. Palette items. Alright. And then that should get us for each on each of these. It could be that it's not remove. Oh. Select head. There we go. Wait. Super awkward. Much more complex than it should be. But I don't feel like looking up how to do this in a more elegant, maybe CSS only way and all that stuff. All right. And we obviously, well, we can do hover effects and stuff, but you know. And now we want to, after selecting, now the one thing I don't like is if I toggle the palette closed on selection, you don't actually get to see the switch over. So it's almost like I want to delay that for a second. The problem with that is that if somebody clicks twice quickly, it could be messy. So first of all, we're going to force, so handle palette, toggle palette, handle palette, toggle force open. We'll do this. Is force open equals undefined, else it's force open. If menu open, yada yada yada. Okay, and then here we'll do false, which should force it close. Okay, and then we'll do something like set time out. It was like half a second, something like that. It seems to be a decent time. Ooh, way too long. 2.5, just long enough to give the user feedback that the action has completed, right? And then obviously we're changing the icon on the button. So let us throw in a couple of different icons just for testing. So let's just use a couple of these. So we have this like SudokuPad default. And we'll call this SudokuPad default. And then we'll just throw in a couple of different ones, like undo. And full screen off. Right? All right. And then we're gonna throw them into this button. So on select palette, which is this guy, we want to find our little button here, which is button palette, button palette. And button palette, tag button. Well, I guess. If we do something like this, I'm not actually sure if that's how to address that item. Yeah. And then here we can do something like document.query. Oh, actually, if we do palette menu, button palette, like this. All right, and say hi to Zeta for me. Tell him about the colors. All right, so I'll do this. Click on here. We got the button. Right now, this button doesn't contain anything, right? Now, how does that compare with one of these other buttons that does contain something? What do they contain? Okay. So, button palette dot inner HTML equals, and we want to insert stuff out of our little buttons. So let palette equals dot find label no p dot label equals label, right? And then we should be able to just put these together. Do this, and you got that, and then we can do this, and we can do the same thing that's going on with these buttons, right? So copy out HTML, sure, why not? Ooh, ouchies. Right. All right. All right. Maybe we can't do the auto HTML. Maybe we shouldn't do that. All right. And here we get palette.icon and palette.title. Ooh. Title. All right, and that might be it from. Boom. Okay. Now, the text sticks out over the side. Now, obviously, we don't have space for text. I have a feeling the text shouldn't be sticking out over the side. I want to leave it there for various technical reasons. Because so does this not have text? But this has text. So the text is obviously suppressed here. How so though? Order, text, alignment. And that's not this button. Or let's look at one of these other buttons. Where is the text? If I look at this, where is the center? 0 by 0. The icon is there. Font size is 0. So, this button here, palette button. And I probably have to rejigger all those names and labels and such. Make more sense. And I say that and it probably is not going to happen. But I should hold on to this dream. Alright, so font size 0. Is that the only thing I'm doing on these? Well, that looks like it. Boom. 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 Now, the idea would be that the icon actually represents the colors. But that might not be distinguishing enough because it's kind of small. So I'd like to be able to maybe embiggen the icon on this particular button. So here, the icon size is that determined by what exactly? Okay, so if we say palette button dot icon svg, and we'll do width forum height forum. And I guess we'll have to do some shuffling of how and where these things happen. Margins. 0. 1 second. We have this, right? We have this icon. Inline flex. This SVG is chunkier. Okay, but the icon itself, it tries to be in the middle, and then the button doesn't let it for some reason. I have a feeling this is due to some sort of padding. So if we set padding to 0, does that fix it? Nope, not at all. Okay. Oh, but that's the button itself. Okay, so maybe it'll fix it after all. Ooh. Well, it's not exactly 0, but it's not 0. Well, it is not 0, but I mean, it's not totally wrong. And the icon seems to be the same size as the button, and the SVG seems to be the same size. Then why do we still have all that spacing there? I don't understand stuff like that. So what if we make this 10 by 10 on just excuse me, width 8 rem, height 8 rem. Okay. So that obviously interferes with the flexi stuff. So this isn't 4 barem or whatever. It's just, if I do this, 100%. Okay, so that's relative to whatever, right? All right, what if I do the icon as well? Why is this like that? Ah, wait, do we have a padding in here? Line height, margin, padding. Padding 0. Padding 1 rem. 0. Okay, that's the icon. What if I do padding 0 here? Padding 1 rem. Padding -2 rem. Padding 0. What else can affect the space inside the button? Margin? No. On the border radius. Cursor space wrap. Line height. Margin. Padding. What if we make the button relative? Position relativo. Maybe we need that for some reason. 1%. I don't actually know what... You know what? Let's make it just bigger. Because I don't know what the actual size is of the space. And if we do the icon as well, and make that padded, unpadded as well, where do we end up? See, we still have some sort of offset for this icon. Now, this could be because this might be displayed as something other than block. Display. Where's the display block overridden? Inline flex. Icon display block. Let it frickin' touch everything. Padding, margin, 0, margin. And... Oh. Not that easy. So this is also flex. Position. It could be the flex on the button that's screwing me up here. Fine, justify. Height, margin. Display. Let's just propagate it up then. Position. I don't understand. So we have nested block items, and it's telling me the icon takes up the space of the button. And it tells me the SVG is in the same position. But then why is it not visually? Why does the visual... I'm an idiot. Is the content offset into the thing? I think so. If I do background magenta. Yes, okay, so okay. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. If I do this, right? And then I can get rid of all this puffing about up here. We want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. Okay. Do we even need the padding 0 then? Or were we already good with that? Yeah, we do want that. Do we need this and these? No. Do we need this? No. Oh. That one line. Nope. This doesn't come from this. Okay. And then if this is 100% and 100%, does that mean icon needs to be bigger? Yeah. And then if we get rid of that, yeah, all right, that's fine. And then we'll just adjust the SVG to contain the colors. We generate an SVG on the fly. for that. And that lets us choose these. Now there's one other thing I want to look up. Simon sent me an email with somebody's, because I've gotten so many color palette suggestions and so on over the years. The palette green light. All right, let's see if we can do the SVG as well, the generate SVG. So for the SVG, we obviously have our rendering thingamajig for the shape. But we probably don't even need that, right? So if we look at this icon, tool color. Is this... I'm trying to remember, because I built this by hand. Whoops. I'm trying to remember if I'm better off starting from scratch. I think I'd rather start from scratch. So if we go here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'd like to give a 10th color per palette, but it might also, like, we might be better off sticking to the 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we go in here now, under cell colors, then pencil marks, givens, grid, arrow, highlights, colors. Here we go. So these are all individual shapes, but I can potentially... no, I cannot. Let me try something quickly. Because they're offset, right? Problem is, I think we're still offset over here as well. So if I go here, cell colors, if I do 1 here, 1 sec, let me just do this, do 1 here, and then this one is 32 offset inwards. All right, so let's just, I'm gonna have to remember how my own tools work. So it's annoying. And then I'm gonna remember how badly my tools work, and that's gonna upset me. Oh, hey Blubs, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Everybody else buggered off to Zeta's stream, I think. It's more interesting. Casuals playing puzzles instead of writing software for them. Yeah, filthy casuals. Can I get the right indent here? No, apparently not. Why not? Why not? If I save this, is there a change? Why does it not want to indent? Uh-oh. Did I put a character somewhere that's... I feel like there's a line miss... Wait a second. What's going on here? I have a feeling I might have got a stray character somewhere, but I'm not getting an error from it. All right. What I'm looking for is a specific rendering function up here that does... it does cell edges. Here we go. Okay. Shockingly enough, that's not actually telling me exactly what I want, what I need. So if I do this, nope, not that, that. Ah, man after my own heart. So we want to target cell colors. We don't actually need a class name. I forget what... Oof, I forgot what any of these mean. If I do this, right, and then center 0.5, 0.5, and then A1, A2, I believe those are the angles. A1, A2. So that's the magic formula. So so if this is 9, that CNT equals 9. That's the total number of colors, and let C equals 1. And this would be C and C. And we do this and this. No, not that. Token, unexpected token, closing brace. What? I don't see any mismatched braces right now. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Did I? What? Unexpected string. Ah! Color, magenta. Colors. No, wait, what? Color. I don't know where that colors comes from, but I don't think we need that. Oh, that's the layer. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Target. I forgot that we need to do that. Something like that. With my wild, inappropriate mixing of British and American English. Append child. So I guess it needs the full name. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now, the problem with that is our cells are offset from the edge of the SVG by half, and I need coordinates relative to the actual yada yada, right? Now, if I do this as a 1, that should just give me a square, right? And if I do these on the origin, it should give me a square. Yeah, so that tells me that we don't have half a cell margin, we have probably a quarter cell. Yes, looks like it. So this needs to be half of quarter cell over, or a quarter cell. Either half of a quarter cell or a quarter cell. Let's try quarter cell. Refresh that. And that looks about right. That looks like we've got something from a... No. 16. Yeah, this doesn't look like it's from 0. So maybe it has to be half, even though that's off screen. That sounds like something I would choose. Jeez. That sounds like something I would do. All right. So if I now look at our rendered output, cell colors 0. Okay, so that looks to me like that is going to give us a path. Not comment, colon, not comment object. Now the question is, am I better off pulling that algorithm out of there? Probably. Although reusing it would, because this one doesn't, it actually renders it into our thing, which we don't want. We don't really want that because it runs the render part. So we could do that and then immediately remove it, which is fine, I suppose. So let's say we do something like this. We'll we'll see what that returns. So this should give us an element, right? And then that element should also be, that should be the only thing in the background layer. So what we can do now is we can do something like this. Const render get color paths equals colors, right? And then we'll do let cnt equals colors length, and then we'll do return colors dot map color let elem equal. We also do a this. Oop. Do that. Then we'll do this. Something like that. We'll do this. Color. And I'll just do that. Well, change the C back to an I. Which makes plenty of sense here. We'll put that in here and do that like that. Something like that. And then we want to do elem.remove and then return elem. And that should return from this a set of colors without having them left over inside our rendering surface. Brief description of today's session goals. Adding multiple color palettes. Well, I'm hoping to do 2 streams today. And in fact, I'm actually overdue for... So I'm going to take a break now, actually, after this. So the point of this stream was to create this UI element. And then I want to take a short break, half an hour. And then the second session is to actually implement color palette switching. And then I'll probably need a third session to actually figure out how to get different palettes in and tune the palettes and, you know, see if I can make them configurable and all that other stuff and clean it all up and turn it into a release and all this. But the UI is probably the hardest of the 3. So if we do this, get color paths, and then we're gonna pass in, you know, we're gonna do a red, a magenta, a white, and a yellow. Right, that's gonna be our palette. Nope. And then I'm just gonna run, let's skip this one. I'm gonna skip all of these. And delete them briefly and hope I didn't break anything. And then we're getting 4 paths back. And we shouldn't have any elements in our renderer here. And then these paths we can inject into an SVG to generate our icon. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So let's do a little p.create icon, create palette icon, colors, and we'll use the stuff we just made. I like that. And now obviously the icon has other biddies there beyond the palette. So let's see how we can combine something like this with that. So the other question would be something like let color paths equals that. Colors. So let's just do that here. Let's just do it right here in the middle of everything. Oh, something like that. And let's do this for each path. We have the path, and I just want to see if we're getting clean strings out of that. No. Or maybe we are. No, I think this is the result of toString. Can we get outer HTML? Outer HTML. To be honest, well, no, we kind of want the string. Yeah, okay, so that's the path. Fill. Wait. Fill. Let's change the order of these. Makes more sense somehow. All right. And we can get rid of these two. So that gets us these. And now we want to squish them into something like this. So we got our group. We got the paths. Don't know why we have... the group is... stroke width. Now, the white outline, I don't actually remember where that comes from. Because I kind of built this by hand, I'm not super... My memory is not super... okay. So I'm guessing these are the colors, and then this would be the outline. Right. So if I take these out of there, put them over here for a second because, you know, might need them soon. And then we can put our new paths in here. Like that. Like that. And that should get us SVG data from here to there. And then we can just return that as our icon. And now if we look at that, we get this mess over here. Okay. So this icon obviously isn't exactly what we have. Now, our actual color palette is where? Good question. Very good question. Is it these? Is it these? So if I go here, okay, if I do this, and then go into our rendered area here, what do I... Okay, so I'm seeing these colors. So 0 through 9. 0 through 8. So 9 would be the transparent one. Except it isn't transparent, interesting enough. It isn't some sort of color. All right. So let us do... let us do color scheme. Is color scheme global here? Can I see it? All right. So new array 8. God damn it. New array dot keys. Is that good enough? Or can I do that? Map? Don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. Find new array. New array 10 map this. All right. Fine. Map color scheme. Zip color underscore A. Like that. Like that. Like that. Is that it? Nope. That's not it. Color scheme. Color 0. If I do this, what does that look like? Undefined. Right. So it's not map. It is map string 100. It's, if I do this, I think that's it. Yes. Color scheme. Is that gonna get us the existing colors? It does. Okay. All right. Let's not speak too loudly. I don't want to startle it. And now this is what it looks like. Okay, so that means relative to this thing, our rendered thingamajig is offset. Okay, so because our view box is 24, but it needs to be cell sized, it needs to be 64. Uh, 24. Let's get rid of this as well. Work with 0.3. I'm not sure why we have that. So this looks, it looks offset, right? It looks like the origin is not where I expect it to be. So that's our icon. Our icon is obviously too small. If I do this, right? Why are these in these weird relative positions? Because this path, oh, they go negative. They go negative. Where do they go negative? That's not right. That's not right. I think we need to go back to relativing it to the center of a imaginary cell. And they are relative to 64 by 64 cells, technically. If I do that, look at that. All right. Now, if we bring back this outline path, is that gonna make sense? I don't think that'll make sense because that's relative to a 24 by 24. Yeah. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can just leave it like that, and then maybe... So we can do a few things, right? Instead of scaling the whole icon, we can scale just this part on the inside. Which probably makes more sense. So if we can do transform, scale 0.5, you know, whatever. And it's actually 0.3. Like, you know, something like that. We could do a clipping path and all this stuff. It's actually, maybe that's just what I'll do. Or we just make it full size, full icon, and then we'll just place it where we want it. So let's do that for now, because that's just simpler. So we're gonna do this. Don't know why we have a stroke on these, to be honest. You know, we're put this down to 64 by 64. Don't want to fill on this. Right, and then we're gonna rejigger it via what we did earlier with making this, 80 by 80 or whatever. We'll probably want this on. What if I do, wait, what if I do this? Where would that leave us? And then I'll do something like adding 0.1 rem, something like that. No. Nope. It's like palette. Oh, wait. Yeah. Palette button. Yeah, we're looking at the wrong place. Palette item. Palette item. Dot icon. So the icon there is actually quite different, isn't it? So padding 0.1 rem, something like that. And then how it looks on the button, we gotta do as well. Or margin. Yeah, it doesn't seem to like that. Icon controls icon 3 by 3. So if we do 2G width 2.5 rem, height 2.5 rem. I should take a break soon because otherwise it'll be too late to start the second stream and I'll get too tired to do a second stream. And then we'll do a margin of 0.25 because we've just cut off half all around. And then it'll look like that. And that's not too bad, right? So that's actually our current palette. So, so really, we don't actually want to store the icons. We want to store the colors. Let's get rid of that for a sec. Don't need that. We don't need that. Do this. That doesn't need to be anything fancy. And then the colors, we'll just do colors. It'll be these. And then the icon we're gonna generate on the fly down here by let icon equals palette dot colors, and then we're just gonna put that in here. I mean, we're probably generating this more often than necessary. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't. Oh, maybe it does matter. Icon. At 93. 93. Oh. Colors. So for now, I'm just going to put that into these. So I'm just going to do this and this and this and this. Right, unsupported token. All right. We want that to go here. All right. Undefined. Brr. Brr. So we actually want to run through these quickly and fill in the colors. Options dot for each. And it's just going to be palette. And then it's just going to be palette dot icon equals this. Dot icon equals this dot icons, yada yada yada. And then here we can just do palette.icon again. Don't need that. And the button icon. Okay. Now let's download that. Was it the PDF? All right. They sent me a PDF with colors. Now, all right, so let's pull these colors out here. It's going to be a huge pain in the ass because I'm going to have to pick them one by one because this is a PDF. Sorry, that's just background red. No, color picker. And I grab this. So we got this. Boom. And that's going to be our second color palette. It's going to be like this. And we're going to do that. So now we're going to grab this one. Put that in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Now, obviously, for example, in this situation, we probably don't want to replicate the grays, especially if I'm going to enable the transparent for flashing. What's Simon call that? Flashing, I guess. But I think this is going to be just the last thing we're going to do, just to run some sort of potential palette in here. Palette green blind. Okay, so yeah, we should probably label it as well, because I might actually use these, right, as a first release kind of thing. So we're gonna say green blind, something like that. And why are the last colors all the same? I picked different colors. God damn it. Thought I copied each one. I gotta do it all again. Wonderful. These seem so similar. I don't understand how colors that are more similar to each other make sense for... I have a strong feeling that people mistake palettes that are supposed to simulate color blindness with palettes that are helping colorblind people. Like, making the colors more similar to each other is not going to help a colorblind person. Having 4 different shades of yellow isn't going to help them. That might be what they perceive these colors at. I would definitely not put colorblind palettes in unless they're confirmed by a person that suffers from those colors. Suggested palette. Suggested CC palette. Suggested. CTC palette normal. So what is he suggesting here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's actually yeah, I'm going to remove that because I feel like that might literally be offensive to somebody. So one of the problems is these kind of expect a huge possibility of potential palettes. But we have a huge problem with UI, right? We don't have infinite amount of space. So I don't think we can really have it be usable and have it be many more than 9 colors. And obviously it would make it much more complex, and then I'll probably won't do it. So what I probably would expect there to be like 2 palettes that kind of interact. So we have a SudokuPad default, and then we'll probably have a SudokuPad extra colors, right? And then obviously it doesn't make sense to repeat these. And then we might want to have a version of these colors, but sort of just the same color, but slightly different, right? So you can basically say, okay, I've marked everything up, but now I want to mark this red to be red dash. So you know, either darker versions, lighter versions, desaturated versions, etc., you know. But that's exactly it, right? It's let's put in this palette as an alternative. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna get rid of the, I'm not gonna call this color palette, right? But he keeps insisting that he has more than 9 slots, which we just don't. Yeah, the colorblind views are actually wrong. So that's a touch sheet should give a better idea of how much distinguish there's been shades in colorblind view. Note that color better distinguish shades than normal vision falls. They're hard to work with, so to speak. Hold on. Mr. Compliance section. Maybe that's what he meant. Maybe this would be a way of for me to test, but like, man, there are so many things to do. Like, this has to come from the community, the sort of palette testing and stuff. No, I don't want a 10th color. The 10th color will probably be literally transparent, so you can literally slash them with a non-color instead of wasting, quote unquote, the light gray. So these aren't actually helpful. And right now, to be honest, let me just color palette generator. I just need 9 fairly contrasty colors. Nope. Yeah. Bugger off. Start generate. Can I? Yes. Stop giving me stuff like that. All right. Can I ask it for? Oh, Jesus Christ. Can I ask it for a specific number of colors? Tools. Image converter, colors, explore gradients, create a gradient, explore palettes. File generator, creator. Can I change how many freaking colors there are in one of these? Fuse gradient, generate method, auto complement, settings. Oh, let me just generate. Do I have to go pro for this? All right, never mind. You're out. This looks exactly the same. I mean, I could literally just grab. Isn't there something that can generate n colors? Can I just tell it how many colors I want? And then just get that many contrasty colors. Can I change settings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all. Can I? No. Can I choose how many colors? Can I just? I'll let you set all the cookies you want. Strap theme, color wheel, color palette generator. Choose count. Can I choose up to 8? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All right, and we want them to be super. We want them to be super divergent. Oh, 9! Finally, Jesus. And we don't want them to be on one line. I have a feeling this doesn't do that. And it's the first one we've had that actually lets us select 9 colors. At this point, I'm tempted to just build my own. Can I? My God, this is so hard to read. I can barely see it. They wanna They want to advise me on colors, and they make a website that I can barely see. Okay, never mind that. Can I? Nope. Nope. Choose random color generator. Let me select how many colors. Thank you. Holy crap, thank you. Now these are super dark. Can I have colors that are like different from each other, not like 4 shades of green and then 2 purples? At least they're making it easy to copy them, so this might be good enough for test palettes. They might be good enough for test palettes. Alright, so let's call this pal 1. Let's put these in here as something like this. Oop. Demo palette 1. Right, and we'll do this again. Can I have something that looks different? Whole grays, why not? Do this one. So. Demo palette 2. And we need 1, 2, 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. And then at least we have something to show without it being like, oh, with it being fairly obvious that these are not the final palette. My God, these are horrible for our purposes, that's for sure. We need definitely something with a little bit more color contrast and divergence and whatever you want to call it. All right. Oh man, sometimes I wish I was a user where I can just ignore. I was like, oh, why don't you make 16 palettes? Where are you gonna put the buttons? Well, not my problem. People will realize that something like changing colors, if it's complex and requires a lot of effort, then they're not gonna do it. As simple as that. I know users well enough to know that they have a very low tolerance for being made to do stuff. Like, I don't want 2 colors which are almost exactly the same. Even for the freaking demo palette. Like 4 blues. I have a feeling these color palettes come from like an image, and that's why there are usually very few divergent shades. Well, it's just for a demo. I probably have to handcraft them fairly carefully. But maybe once I have this implemented as in the beta, maybe I can solicit some support from the community, and that would be very nice. Yeah, I'm just using this right now to fill up this so I can have something to actually work on the mechanism itself. Because it's very easy to kind of block myself from progress when, you know, I'm not a color specialist. I shouldn't be doing the palettes in the first place. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, why are they not fitting in here? So I'm wondering if that's kind of, you see, that's what I should be working on. The whole height, the height of the whole thing is 100%. So flex equal height rows. Equal height rows. So I probably want to make this a flex container, I guess. Button, palette, menu. So if we make this display flex, and then equal flex item with same height and same row, equal heights and flex rows for height grid. Make all flex as the same height. Full height and width. Flex rows. So flex direction, all. Something like that. And then instead of giving a height here, and instead of doing that, now I want to spread them out. Flex align column, flex direction, flex display flex direction, column, and then flex spaces, flex. Right, it's talking about these things, but it's not actually telling me how to do it. All right, so yeah. Flex rows, these are row and column layouts with flex. I just, you know, flex row, flex direction, flex column, flex row. So the problem, I'm guessing, is that these have some kind of height given. Nope, they don't. The content have. Might be a problem. Flex rows fit perfectly. I'm just Googling, just throwing everything. Like, flex is always so annoying. It's like, not worth, too much stuff that's not worth learning. But it's always annoying to kind of find it again. So, flex 1. No. Flex rows, fill parent. Flex flex columns. That's the standard thing. Flex rows, spread. Without wrapping. I don't want to wrap them. Well, this is how to make them equal width in a row. I want equal height in a column. Do I just display flex these guys as well? Right. Flex. Column. Spread. Fill. Flex list. I want a list of items. Typical use case for Flexbox. I mean, I can do height 100% divided by 3. Height. Well, 100% divided by what? 6. And then I don't need this. But this is, it seems like this is exactly what Flexbox is supposed to be for, and then it's such a pain in the butt. Anyway, select it. Instead of background 3, we do border 2px solid black. Did I just blow in the microphone? Sorry about that. Did not mean to. I just closed something that I didn't mean to close, I guess. Open. Can we get a padding on that? Padding 0.1 rem. But then margin. Problem is margin. That's exactly what the flex frickin' thing is supposed to do. God damn it. Because I want the height. So I want a padding inside, but then the border needs to be inside the padding. And okay. I'm gonna make myself crazy here, so I'm not gonna do that. Select it. We're just gonna do background. I'm blowing the microphone again, aren't I? Sorry about that. We're just gonna do this, make this a light-ish gray with a fair amount of transparency. Something like that. So for now, that's fine. And then this is gonna be thicker. And this is gonna be also a darker gray with less transparency, something like that. And then if I open that, we get this and this, and then this icon also changes, which is exactly what I wanted. And I think you can see pretty well. Now, obviously, we have to update the buttons. The buttons, those are actually not super easy to do because the color. Where's the color come from for these buttons? From here. Yeah, that's the last thing. Okay, oh, man, it's 6. Normally I start the stream at 6, and I don't really want to start a stream at 7. So the second stream is gonna have to be quite short. But I definitely need to split this up into 2, otherwise I'm gonna run out of steam. Palette select. So this is where we're changing this. So what we're gonna do is next palette. We're gonna do next palette.colors.forEach. Call IDX. Something like that. And I hate unnecessary abbreviations. So what we're gonna do, we're going to do document.query selector tool color button data value. Now data value goes from 1. So that's going to be IDX plus 1. Because IDX starts at 0. And then we're going to select on the before. And I don't know if we can. Ooh, that's going to suck. I don't know if we can select on that. Ooh. Ooh. So if I click this, undefined for each, next palette, oh, fine. Palette select. Okay. Next palette here is what? Next palette is a label. Next palette label. Let's do this. And then we can output the palette as well. And see if that makes more sense. Class list. Query selector. Wait, select palette. Next palette label is undefined. Select, wait, handle palette select. Mouse event. Target. Mouse down. What is going on? First of all, where do these come from? 71. Stop your spam. Spammy spam spam. Where am I spitting these? Oh, jeez. So if I click this, and I click this. Next pal label. Why am I suddenly not getting that anymore? Because I'm clicking on the freaking icon. All right. We need to do a closest select here. Dot closest. If. So event target path closest. No, not diff. Dot palette item. So boom. Closest this. And then that's our, we get our data set from. And oh hey, oh sorry, Andy. I was mixing up your chats with blobs. Take two different colors from, yeah, okay, no, that's all. So, data palette, next pal label. Why is this still going wrong? Pal2, next palette, bum 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 bum. And then for each of these, we're doing that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yada, yada, yada. And this, I guess I was right that we cannot select pseudo elements. No. CSS select pseudo elements. Go to select or changing styles on pseudo elements. Don't think this is possible. There's still not found a way to retrieve change of pseudo elements and ask what people thought of this method. Basically, you can get a style or an element such as CSS styles, yes, statements such. You can get a style and change one with. You of course have to change the style sheet in CSS index. Read my question. The elements for true. Pseudo elements as well as regular elements. Okay, so we need to modify. The question is, if I look at these guys, right? Background color. So we could inject a style. So basically it means we need to modify the style sheet live, which sounds scary, but I do this, right? CSS rules. Style. I do style sheets like this. So we'd have to find a specific style sheet. Let's do that quickly. I keep saying that I need to stop, and I probably should. What did I do here? Document.stylesheets.find sheet equals or style equal style dot href dot match style CSS. Do this, right? Do that. That should style sheets.find, because obviously it's some weird collection bollocking. What's wrong with standard arrays? Arrays are nice. I just want to see what the href property is. Okay. And if I match that against this, why would that not work? Reading match. Oh. All right. If I do this, this is going to get me my style sheet. Okay. So then the next step up is rules, CSS rules. .css rules. And that is these. So then we need to look for selector text, CSS rules dot map or dot find rule dot select or text match. There might be nulls in here as well. And we want to match this. Match data value button data value 4. For example, will that get us the specified rule? Missing. Can I get some syntax highlighting here, please? Button data value. Oh, data value 4. Document find. CSS is not a function. Yada yada yada. Can read undefined reading match. So same old. And that should get us a rule. And then we should be able to just assign to it. So then we should be able to do dot style dot well, background color equals red. I panicked. And this should 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just make sure I'm not trying to change the red one to red. So data value equals 4. No. Background color. Star rule, selector, button data value equals 4, align, yada yada yada, background color, red, CSS text, style. Now, alright, this is a little oddie here. This is, oh, tool corner, okay. So, we want this in here. Dot tool button. And data value 4, because I added an extra B in here. Also, no goodo. Tool button. Tool button. Tool corner. Button data value equals 4. Button data value 4. Let's just do an exact match. a string match. We know what the whole rule is. We are already there anyways. So just data value equals 4, and then closing square brace. And I think, I don't know if I deleted extra braces. No. Map rule.selector text. So we have all of these selector texts, and somewhere along these should be dot tool button value. Tool corner, tool color. Tool button. What's wrong with me? Jeez. I'm really making it hard on myself, aren't I? Also, false, and there should be one true in here somewhere. Find. Come on, give me one true. Ah! Tool color button. Tool color button data dash value. Oh, colon before. Colon before. But it could be. Could it be that I need to escape these? I don't think so. So tool dash color. Oh, yeah, because it's an equality, it wasn't a match. So it needs to have that, yes. And then, so that's finding the rule. And then dot style background color equals red. And the console log is not going to do anything. And that works. Okay, so let's plug that rubbish in there. This is probably very certainly not what we want to do in here. But it's something we can throw in here quickly, and maybe we can get to our break. So we got a style sheet. So let style equals this, and we can do this before. We don't have to do this for each button separately. Let style equals find where we're matching, and then that's our style sheet. All right, and then style, and then on CSS rules, we now do a find on that. Let CSS rule equal, and we'll do a find on this. And we'll probably do let CSS rules equal, so we don't do this over and over either, like that. And then we'll do this once here. And this has got to be equal to IDX plus 1. Right? And then we can do CSS rule.style.background color equals color. Maybe. And maybe this works repeatedly without completely screwing things up. Unless we have a million little errors all over the place. Unexpected closing brace in 1050. Color. Yeah. Don't know where the. Oh, wait. Just that. No! Right. I need that break. I should have had that break an hour ago. Gotta stick to my plans. Yay! He's sort of. Kinda. Super faded. Something isn't quite right. All right. I'm gonna call it here. Gonna take a short break, and then I'm gonna hopefully start another stream. It's already 6:30. This was supposed to happen an hour earlier, but I'll probably grab a cup of coffee, take a break, and then I'll do another short stream of about an hour, and then we'll probably do just a very rough implementation of, those colors actually coming up when I type things in here. Might be more complex than I thought, because right now the colors are sort of prescribed in our palette, but we need more than 9 because we obviously don't want to replace the standard colors with new colors. We want to add additional colors. So it's going to be a little complex. We'll see. All right. Thanks for stopping by, Blobs, Andy, and obviously everybody who's went over to Greener Pastures. There was Eric and Tristan was in, and Luma was in earlier, and Soldier FX1 at the beginning. Thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.